All right, guys, so this is the 8-step process my agency uses to build websites for contractors. And you can use this for your electrical business. So let's hop right into the whole section. I built a whole flow chart in a Miro board so you can actually see this in action. So if we go to the Miro board, you can see here, this whole thing here is one whole board for building a website for a contracting business. And for you, it's for your electrical business. So let's first go over the summary for this, give you an idea of everything that's in this project. So first thing off is you're gonna have to figure out a domain name, right? So we covered domain registration. That's choosing your domain name, who we suggest to purchase your domain from, and a little bit of understanding of how it works. So your domain sits at a registrar, if that makes sense. And after you do all those steps in that process, you go on to your web hosting. This is the company that hosts your actual website. So that's where you build the actual website. After you do your hosting, we'll focus on the WordPress installation. And the WordPress installation, that's the CMS that builds your website. That's the platform it's on, and I highly recommend WordPress. Guys, I'm gonna give you tips and tricks along this whole process that help you build a comprehensive website. So make sure you watch all of the video. So over here we got, after we do the WordPress installation and all the steps that are required for that, we'll go into the Cadence theme, and this is a theme I recommend that you use to build your WordPress website. And then we're going to cover essential plugins. You need certain plugins that will help the website run properly with security, with the design of the website. And I'll go over the best ones to use for that. Then we talk about content creation. What do you actually have to create on the page? And then there's the pre-launch testing of the website before you go live, and then the actual launch of your website. We're going to cover all of these 8 steps. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what you need to do. And I got a bonus for you I'll show you here in a second. So if we go back to the canvas here, we'll go over all the steps. I have 8 steps written out. And guys, if you ever need, you can go back. I have a flow chart actually showing every single step in this process. And as you can see, it's pretty exhaustive, and there's a lot of things you need to do to build a comprehensive website. And this doesn't even go into the optimization of the website after you have it built. And that's something agencies like mine do specifically to help you rank on Google and to get traffic and leads. But let's hop right into the actual meat and potatoes of this thing. So we'll go to step 1, all right? So this is the domain registration. And guys, this Miro board is free and available for you in a link in the description. So you can grab that and have this whole board so you know what to do. And in this board, I'll just go over a little bit so you understand what's in the board. So each phase here is a section. So this is pre-purchase phase, purchasing process. These are different steps within domain registration, right? Simple. So when you're doing check availability, you can see if you click on this, there'll be steps to take too that you can follow along and make sure that you do all these steps. That way you don't miss something in this whole process, all right? So if we go over a few of these steps, right, you're going to check the availability of the name. And before you do that, a good practice to try to do is, get some domain name ideas. Use an AI tool like ChatGPT, Claude. All right, guys, so I did a simple prompt here. I'm looking for domain name ideas around the electrical business. Consider SEO in mind. So when he does look for a domain name idea, it'll be thinking about best practices so you rank well on Google also. And also the location is in Boston. So we're just going to run this on Sonnet would probably be fine. And it's just going to come up with some ideas to get you thinking about what you could do, right? It doesn't have to be super short, but I can tell you guys, SEO in mind, if you can use something that has the actual keyword like electrical services, that's really good. So right here we got Boston Electric Pros. That's pretty good. Boston, if you're only servicing that area, Electric Pros, that's really good. Keyword specific. These kind of get a little bit long. I like New England Electric Pros. That's pretty cool. Voltage Boston. is a little bit different. But as you can see, this will just give you some ideas. And then what you do is you go into a tool like this. I recommend using Namecheap. And guys, this is right in the board, so you can access it easily. So if we look here, we'll just do a quick search, say like Boston Electric. Probably wouldn't be available. There's some other options here, which I don't recommend, guys. Don't do any of these energies, TOs, AI, .net, .inc. None of these. You really want a .com. Focus on .com. One thing to consider is, say your business name and then electric. That usually could be good, especially if it's your business name as, say, your last name of your business. So then, guys, it just walks you right through the process, creating your Namecheap account, putting in the card, who is protection, certain things you need to do that you want when you register your domain. You verify it, you save your credentials for later, and then you save you note your name servers. This is really important. This part of your name servers, this is something you're going to need to point your domain to your actual host, which is really important. If this is starting to get a little bit confusing, we got name servers and DNS settings, and it just seems a little more complex than you thought to build a comprehensive website for your electrical business, reach out to us in the description. We'll help you with building a website. That's what we do. We build websites just for contractors, and we do their SEO and their paid ads. Just think about, we help you build your brand and do your marketing so you can focus on your electrical business. All right, so real simple. Let's do a little recap. So you did a search on AI for your domain name. Just trying to get ideas of what to choose for your domain name. And then you go over to Namecheap and actually purchase your domain. So you type it in. You want to get a .com, not a .net, not a .io, and just go through a list. Create a little list in Google Docs or something of domain name ideas. And now you're going to go into step 2. So let's focus on step 2. And in step 2, we are going to get your hosting for your website. So first steps of this, I recommend using SiteGround for your host. It's really a good hosting service. The benefit of SiteGround too is that the customer service on it is excellent. So you're going to have excellent customer service because you're going to need that. There's going to be something you do or break or possibly mess up when you're pointing from your register over to your host, and those things happen. What I would recommend here with hosting, for one, a good tip here is just get the web hosting. Don't get the WordPress product or their website builder, or don't buy your domain through them. It's really important. You want to make sure you separate your domain name from your hosting. Have them at 2 different companies. That way, if there's an issue, the whole ship doesn't sink on one end, if that makes sense. So separate those. Buy it on your domain and Namecheap, hosting at SiteGround. If you look here, the best option is more than likely just the startup, the $2.99 a month. And one thing to consider, that $2.99 a month is only the first year. So after that first year, it goes up to $20 here, $18. You're not really going to need Grow Big because you're not going to need that amount of storage or anything like that. So this first plan is going to be fine for you for one single website. If you have more than one website, obviously you could go to Grow Big or something like that. But that's $20 a month. And guys, one thing to consider, if you hire an agency like us, our base platform, our base program just for maintenance of your website is $100 a month. So you're already almost there, plus your domain name, just something to consider. All right, so we got your domain name, we got your hosting. Let's go back to the board to check if there's anything here. You select your plan, choose the data center. These are all the process as you're going along. Your SiteGround account, billing, save and login credentials, access site tools. And then you're going to do this process, the initial setup. You're going to update your name servers. These are the name servers that you had over at that you saved when you chose your domain name. So you can put them in here. It's easy to find if you can't find it later. And then you got to wait for your DNS to propagate. It could take up to 2 days to actually have this thing go live. From my perspective, it's usually a lot quicker than that. So, and then you want your SSL. The SSL security is really important. You know, when you go to on a website and it says this website's not safe, that means it doesn't have an SSL certificate. That's the HTTP, not HTTPS. So this is this is a step to verify that and make sure it's working properly. All right, so step 3, the installation of your WordPress, right? Really important to make sure you don't mess this up. You're going to choose an admin name. One thing to really consider is don't use admin for the admin name. Really important, because that's hackers tend to try to use that. They'll use the word admin and then try to match a password to it. So pick anything besides that. The more creative, the better. And then create a strong password, your administration email, and then you'll go into SiteGround. Select new installation, choose your domain, and it's a pretty simple process for building a website. I could show you that real quick. So real simple right here, you would choose a new domain. Unless you already had your domain name, you would put it in here. I'll just do it on a temporary domain because I don't have a new domain. And once you're in here, you would start a new website. You would select that. And then do you want the builder or not? You do not want the website builder. Just go to WordPress. This is where you put in your the website name that you want. I mean, your email address, whatever you're registered your business with, which is probably the best here, or whatever's easier for you to log in. And then a secure password, and then you hit continue. And then it's just gonna create that website, and it's gonna give you login credentials. So the quick recap on the WordPress installation is you just want to focus on choosing a safe admin name. Don't use the word admin. Make sure you use a strong password. And then make sure you follow all the steps so you have the proper SSL, login, things like that. And then you're going to point the name servers from your host over to your SiteGround account, your hosting account. So the name servers from your register over to your host, SiteGround, and then it's going to take up to 48 hours to propagate. And make sure you check your SSL, but follow all the steps that are actually in the Miro board. Now we're going to jump into step 4, and that's the installation of Cadence. So hop on here, I'll show you that. So Cadence is the theme. So all WordPress actually has a theme in the background. That's what you see. Let me show you here. So Cadence is the company I suggest that you purchase your theme from. So a very blank website has nothing on it. It's, a stripped WordPress website is just super basic with nothing. So you need a theme. Cadence is the best. I've been through them all. If you're going to use WordPress, this is the best theme to use. The product that you need here is, let's see, premium plans. And you want the plans because you got to get the blocks also, which is really important. So the theme and plugins, do not get this, guys. Do not get their hosting. I'm telling you, don't get the hosting. Stay on SiteGround. All the links for the hosting, the register, everything that you'll need, Cadence, etc., will be in the description below. So go ahead, pick up the theme and plugin, and then you got the Express package, which is $70 a year, and the Plus is what you're going to need. It's $170 a year. You're going to need this one mostly because we're going to need this Blocks Pro to really build a professional looking website. So you're going to need to purchase this. So at $172, now you're starting to build up too with that. If you go with Contractors Partner and we build this for you and we maintain your website for the $100 a month, that's what it costs right now. I don't know how long this video will be out there, but it'll still be always affordable, the base price. whether you're doing SEO, things like that, gets a little more expensive, or if we're running your ads. But anyway, at the 170, plus you got your hosting. So we host it. We have all the tools, all the blocks, the theme, the plugins, everything you need. Just something to consider. So anyway, you're going to choose that plus version. And then all you got to do is, you don't need to review the features because I already got that. And then there's a starter template. So I'm going to show you inside a design that we have, Sparky Electrical, and then I'll show you a little bit of the actual cadence. But what you'll do is once it's all loaded, this is your WordPress admin, right? The dashboard's here. Your posts for your website were here, your pages that you build out. You can adjust everything in appearance, plugins. This is just a basic overview so you have some understanding of what's going on here. But in the site assist up here, they have starter templates. So what I'd recommend, if you're not going with us, then you'd have to choose something and design it to what you want. But if you go through here, the premium ones are on that plan that I showed you that you need anyway for the bigger blocks. And they usually have the better designs or these templates. You go through and pick something you like. Here's a painting one. This kind of gives you an idea how nice these templates are, and the WordPress and the theme. So guys, one tip to let you understand that you could go get another theme somewhere else that's cheaper, right? But I've been down the rabbit hole with all of these, and then the beauty of Cadence is it's super fast. So the theme is lightweight, if that makes sense. It doesn't cause such a slowdown. So when you pair the theme with the hosting, you have a fast, responsive website. So that in return gives you better leads because people don't click away. Google likes that, so they rank your website better. So just something to really consider and think about so you don't end up getting the wrong thing. So you can see this at full screen how nice this is. The website, they're very clean, simple designs. The call to actions are really bold and really get people to call. We have a different setup when we do these. We'll have a phone number that's a little more bold and understand, and then we have a sticky header that follows it. But that's something you could try to figure out on your own. And you can see you could change the colors, really simple. And these are in the customizer. You could change fonts really easily that end up changing across the whole website, which makes it really nice. But that gives you an idea of starter templates. So from the beginning here, if say you didn't have the theme yet on here, so you just go to Appearance, Themes, and then you would search over here an actual theme and search Cadence. Cadence is already on here, so you would pick this version. This is the free version, but you need the blocks. So anyway, you load that in, and then your next step is you'd go down to plugins, and then you would add all the plugins that it suggests. And I'll go a little more into plugins in one of the next steps, but that's where the plugins is. Here's that appearance and then the customizer, which makes it really easy to adjust things on the website. Colors and fonts, buttons, you have a global palette set for everything. This is one of our template designs that you can choose, and then we modify for you, your brand, your location, your business, but just gives people an idea of what they look like. I'll show you a little more on our website here. So if you go to website designs, you get an idea of all these great designs that we have. We kind of made some fun with it, with what it is. This is for renovation, Mastercraft, electrical business, Perfect Flow, True Pro, but it really goes over our designs and what they're all about. You can visit our contractor partner if you maybe want us to build this for you. And guys, it's extremely affordable. You might be thinking to yourself, why am I doing all this when I could just hire someone else for a nominal fee and then work on your own business? But anyway, those are our designs that you can use for your websites. It really shows you the whole actual design, and you can click through to all the pages, and that's at contractorspartner.com. But anyway, let's get back into there. So that gives you an idea inside Cadence within your WordPress and how to actually use it. So guys, make sure you use that pro version of Cadence. That's the next step for you. It's going to cost you a little bit per year, but it's well worth it, and it really helps you when you're designing it. Visit Contractors Partner if you want some better looks at actual different designs and how we like to build the actual website so they convert. Even on the homepage, there's some case studies if you want to check those out. So now let's jump into the next step, and that's the plugins. I was mentioning this a little bit before, but these are all the plugins that you need and that are important for your website. There's the SG Optimizer. There's a security plugin that's part of SiteGround, which really helps you make sure that nobody hacks into your website. That's a real problem, guys. You do not want someone to hack into your website, get attached to your domain. Google can end up punishing you for this. But that's all the steps here that I gave through that whole process. Your site title, all these different things that you need to do within your website. If I show you here. In here, the actual name of the website, the tagline, if you have it. There's all these particular settings and requirements that you need to adjust for your website to work properly, the permalink structure, things like that. That's all walked through in that Miro board that you see here. Your topography, global colors, your header layout, all the things. Configuring your footer and your header. So if you're on my site here, you can see up here is the actual header of the website, this top menu section, which is really important to get that correct. And then the footer, which is this bottom section, the navigation to different parts of the website, the way it's internally linked and connected to different things is important to have this certain structure. And it goes over most of that there without optimizing what we do for our actual clients. So that's the next step for plugins. Guys, to add a plugin, super simple. If you go to plugins, you just hit add a plugin. If you're doing that and then search for it here, if you're doing what I recommend through Cadence, it'll give you all the plugins that you need except for Imagify, and that's one you'll have to upload. This one here, that's not through Cadence, that's another plugin. It's a really cheap fee for that. I forget what it is exactly, but you'll want that to compress your images so your website can load faster. One thing I don't have on here because I don't have, this is just a design, is you would need Yoast. So that's important to have set up. So if we go here, plugins, and click to Yoast. So Yoast is an SEO optimization for the actual website. This helps you write meta descriptions and meta tags. This might get confusing to you, but it's essential. Good SEO is really important for your website. If you don't implement good SEO, you won't show up well in Google. And even if you're going for that review section, for getting your Google business reviews, there's a correlation with that in a website. If your website is designed correctly, they will both do well. And guys, I can't emphasize this enough. If you rank well on Google, like you get to that #1 position, say by doing SEO, we do that for contractors. Reach out if you'd like us to do that. It's just a constant flow of leads and you don't have to pay for ads. It's a great way to grow your business. But as you can see here, Yoast is the plugin and it's really simple to find. You just go here, add plugin, search for Yoast. And it should come up and you just install now. It's a really simple process. And then you'll have that and there'll be a step walkthrough process for that. And we covered that in here. So that's really all you got to do for step 5 of the process. So now let's hop into step 6, which is content creating the content on the actual website. And outline all the pages you should really create for a service-based business like your electrical company, right? We go through all those here, gathering text. And guys, one tool there too is you can use AI, like Claude. You can tell it, hey, what do you recommend for the 5 best pages for service-based business for my electrical company. And it'll give you the best ones. But really, you're going to do home, your contact page, your about page. You need a privacy page, which is really important. And then your services, what you're actually selling. Those are the basic pages that you would need. And that's what's in our basic platform, our basic program if you went with Contractors Partner. So we cover all that, how to write the copy, how to collect images, creating your home page, your about page. And guys, like I said before, all these steps are here. So you actually walk through every step. So adding your contract form. We talk about how to do it and what to use. There's all those steps and all of these tasks. Oh, one thing I didn't share too, these tasks move. So as you're creating this, you just move it. All right, we got to go like here. But you just move it over. So now this is in progress and you get an idea of your process and all the things that you've done, but you just move them over like that, if that makes sense. Super easy, super simple. So that is step 6, your content creation. And guys, you have sticky notes here if you just want to add a note to something or put it somewhere. You could change the size and say, hey, one thing I want to focus on this and I want to remember, and you just type it in there. That's a cool thing about notes. All right, so step 7, what do we got? Pre-launch testing. Really important, guys. You don't want to launch a website unless you test it all. You don't want to, it's better to make sure everything's working properly than have something launch broken and then you're trying to backtrack to find out what the problem is and where it went wrong. So really important to focus on this pre-launch testing. So you're going to test all the internal links on your website. That's these links. So if I was on this page, all these links go somewhere, and it's important to make sure that they work properly and actually load, right? So that's checking all those internal links. I also suggest using page speed insights instead of GT metrics, but that's up to you. And then make sure the theme plugins that you're not using are gone. Any of the WordPress default content that was there, you want to get rid of that before you launch. All right, step 8, the launch of the website. Really important to follow all these steps thoroughly. All right, so let's jump in here. You're going to review all your pages, make sure they all look right. There's no issues there. There's no problems. You're going to clear your cache. This is done through your host. I walked through the steps in that Miro board. Make sure you remove the coming soon if you have it. You're going to submit a sitemap to Google Search Console. So if you go here, I'll show you. Log into Google Search Console. You might have to create an account if you don't have one yet. You start now, and what you're going to do is submit your pages and your sitemap in there. Really simple process. I walk you through that. Google Analytics. This is really important if you're going to be tracking paid ads or just your website traffic outside of what's showing up within Google Search. Those are the two differences. So Google Analytics is showing you paid traffic, traffic from social media, maybe Facebook. You can track all of those. And I really highly suggest you do that. So you have an idea where your business is coming from. The Google Search Console is all your business that's coming from search, Google Search. That gives you an easy understanding of what the two differences are, but you want to make sure you have those both. You're going to test it on your mobile tablet if you have it, your website, and then you're going to monitor it for the first 24, 48 hours to make sure everything is working properly when you finally see it online. And then submit it to Google with the sitemap and also any pages, and you can do that through Search Console. You want to set up a backup schedule to make sure your WordPress is constantly being backed up. And then set up a maintenance calendar. Guys, it's really important to have, when you have a website, that it's maintained. I see it all the time that I get into somebody's website, a contractor's website, and they haven't touched it in 4 years. The problem with that is when plugins get outdated or not updated, they could be hacked. So you're given a back door for a hacker to get in your website. They can hide stuff through your website that's like impossible to find. These links can go to all kinds of bad things. where you don't want to direct a potential customer. So it's really important that your everything gets maintained, it gets backed up. And guys, if you hire a contractor's partner, we do all that for you to make sure that you're always protected and your website is ready and optimized and ready to go. So here we have that whole Miro board with the entire process to build a website. And guys, it's free for you. It's in the description. Go ahead and grab it. And if you're looking at all this and you're saying, geez, how long is this going to take me? I put all the steps in there in the process, and hopefully you can follow it. It should be really easy and simple for you to do. But if you want to consider hiring contractors partner, this is what we do. We do this just for contractors. We know how to optimize it correctly. So even when people land, that's something that this whole thing didn't go into, is how you build it on the actual page to help convert a customer coming in, which is another huge part of a website. So many people build websites and it's just a fancy website, but it doesn't do anything for you when that customer actually comes. And a lot of times they'll bounce and go somewhere else. So that's something part of the service. We maintain it, we host it, we make sure it's updated. You're able to have a problem or you need something changed or an image or anything like that, you just reach out to us and we do that for you. You're allotted a certain amount of time a month. And guys, also one thing to consider is the way we set up your website. It's kind of like a toolbox. The website is the toolbox, and then inside of that is all the different things you can pull out for your marketing. So if you decide to do SEO with us, you decide to do paid ads with us, those can be turned on and turned off and just go back to maintenance mode where we maintain your website. But you need more leads. We put on paid ads. You decide, hey, I just want to bump up my business for the future. Then we do a SEO campaign for 6 to 9 months. And that's what it takes to rank #1 in Google. But we'll get you there. We have proof and studies of it happening already with our clients. So guys, reach out to Contractors Partner, link in the description. I hope this video helped you understand how to build a website for your electrical business. And I hope you subscribe to the channel.